Hi, this is Rick. I wanted to show you the mobile display for our TruVizion application, which provides diagnostics for DOCSIS and GPON devices and networks. We used to have a separate app for TruVizion called TechVision. You don't need that anymore. You can now open TruVision on your mobile browser, and the screens will be optimized for your device. Let's take a look at some screens. As you can see, the screen looks the same as on a desktop or laptop, just a different format. I can actually rotate my phone at any time and the display would rotate, although this video would not rotate, so you'd be looking at things sideways, and we don't want to do that. So I'll just leave it in portrait mode where it is. I can click the magnifying glass, or tap the magnifying glass right here, and I can see that I can now search by phone, email, last name, or Mac, just like I could before, and I can tap the More link and get more things that I can search for right there. You can see lots of other stuff that I can search by. I can also tap the menu right here, and here I get a list of network elements, and I'm going to go ahead and tap DOCSIS to see a CMTS. So right here we're looking at a real CMTS with real devices out in the field. The only thing that we've changed is the names and addresses of people so that we're not looking at any private information. So I can go ahead and scroll up here. I'm looking at downstream RF levels, and I can scroll within a pane just like that. Same with upstream RF levels, and in any of these I can tap the percent radio button to see percents, or I can look at the values just like that. Average upstream SNR, downstream bandwidth utilization. Also on charts like this, we're always looking at worst to best, so you've got a little arrow button I can tap if I want to see other channels. Also I can double tap a particular bar, and then I can see a list of the customers that make up that particular report, and I can download that. I can print that maybe from here if I have the ability to do that, so I can drill in on those reports. Just go ahead and tap my back button and go back to where I was. So upstream, downstream, average upstream SNR, downstream bandwidth utilization, upstream bandwidth utilization, modem status, and code word errors. Right now we've got some uncorrectable, and we've got some correctable. I can just tap that like that. We also have the modem status here is a great feature. So for example, right here I've got my first channel, I've got 80 online, I've got 4 offline, which is normal I guess, but if this were an outage or an unusual number of modems offline, my offline number would turn red. And it'd be really nice when that happens. I can go ahead and click in, I just tap that 4, and then I can see the customers that make up that report. And again, if you're in the middle of an outage, you can tap the map icon, and that's going to bring up a map, and then you'll see your customers that are offline. Now once again, these map pins are not really where these modems are located, but if I had a large number of modems offline and there was an outage, I'd see those gray flags clustered in one location, and that really can help me if I'm having an outage to see where the outage is, and then once I make repairs to verify that the outage is taken care of. All right, so I'll go ahead and now scroll. Actually, I don't need to scroll. I'll just go ahead and tap my magnifying glass right here. Actually, it's already there, open, and I'm going to go ahead and type in, well, actually I typed it in there, Smith. I know that's a last name I've got in here. And that's going to go ahead and pull up the search results. If there's more than one result, you'll see a list. In this case, there's just one Smith in our demo database. So here I'm looking at a particular end user modem, and I can scroll a little bit right there. I can see a picture of the modem and information about the model. I can ping it. I can see the interfaces on this particular device. I could show all interfaces. I don't think there's any more than 2 right here, if there were some that were not active. I've got my modem status right here. I can see immediately if the modem's online or offline. I can see if there's any problems going on recently, like the last 24 hours. Everything looks good, no flaps. I've got my communications pane, which this shows me, for example, if I've got a customer that called in, they're having problems, and maybe they've got a virus. So I might see here, for example, that there's a lot of download data, and maybe that's why they're having a problem. But in this case, we don't see anything that's flagged as red. I've got my RF levels, upstream and downstream levels. I've got modem port status. That's nice to see in case maybe gives us some indication that the issue is not just at the subscriber's home, if I saw some issues right there. Again, I've got the customer data information right here, contact data, which in this case the name and the address are not an actual customer. Then I've got my map right here, which I can pinch and zoom into, or I can tap the little drill-in icon. And when I do that, I actually have some, in addition to seeing the map, again with some customers, I can filter that. I could look at offline-only modems, and right here I can tap Alert. And if I want to see a particular kind of issue that we might be having, everybody maybe that's having only upstream SNR, I can uncheck some of these things, or check them however I want to do it. I can also check by vendor. So if I want to see all ARIS devices, for example, and then I could even check by different models. So that, again, will filter the map based on what I select there. I'm going to scroll up to the top one more time here to show you that we're looking at the Device tab. If this particular device supported voice, Wi-Fi, and Spectrum, and those particular tabs were licensed, then you would see these tabs would be active, and I could tap on those tabs and see information about voice for this subscriber. I could look at the MOS scores for the last calls, those kinds of things. I could see Wi-Fi stats, the devices that were connecting to it on Wi-Fi and how that performance is going. I could look at the spectrum if this was a full band capture compatible modem, and then I could see the spectrum for this device as well. So we have those tabs. So that's a quick overview of TruVision on a mobile device. If you don't have TruVision and would like to learn more or see a full demo, just give us a call at 800-909-9441 or go to TruVision.com.